Hey, hi, it's Ruby. Welcome to the September wrap up. Today we're going to go through all the books that I read in September, and I'm going to try and move quickly because I always take forever, but I only read 12 books, which is definitely less than I usually read. I think it was because I wasn't reading a ton of great books. This was one of my lower rated months. I don't know if it was my lowest rated month, but let's see. I can actually check. It looks like it is. It's my lowest rated month, which I had an average star rating of 3.5 stars. I read 12 books, 4,982 pages. I had 2 5 stars, so that's good. But I also had a DNF, which isn't great. But at least I'm getting better at DNFing. I'm pretty proud of myself because if you've been following me regularly, you know that I used to really suck at DNFing, and that's why I started the Will I DNF series to just like really jumpstart me and like help me, which I need to do another one of those because there are a ton of books that I just feel like I'm not going to hold on to. The genres look really good. I had a lot of different genres this month. I had romance, literary fiction, YA fantasy, just adult fantasy, romantasy, contemporary romance, YA, mystery. Like I do read a ton of different things, so that's not surprising to me, but I had a good mix. Very colorful tracker for sure, and I'm happy about that. So let's get into it. Let's start off with the books that I don't own because I actually only own like half of these, which is great. I'm getting better at using my apps like Libby and Hoopla, Kindle Unlimited, Everend, which I still do have a link for Everend for a free 30-day trial. You get 3 free audiobooks or ebooks or whatever you choose to read for free for 30 days. So yeah, that's linked down below. I've worked with them in the past. This is not sponsored, but I really enjoy using Everend. So it's there if you want to check it out, but let's just jump right into the first book. So at the very beginning of the month, I read Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston. And I didn't go into it with really high hopes because her last release, which was a novel love story, I didn't love. And I do own 2 of her books. I own The 7-Year Slip and then The Dead Romantics. I've read The 7-Year Slip and I liked it. I have yet to read The Dead Romantics, but I feel like October is probably a good month for that since it's like ghosts. But yeah, I didn't love a novel love story. I thought the premise was super cool, but the execution to me was not there. Honestly, I just didn't love it. So I went into this one thinking you might not like it, and I didn't, which sucked because it was like it had to do with the music. The cover was really beautiful. There was like musical notes, and I am a musician, so I figured I would like it, but it just was very unforgettable to me. I mean, very forgettable, I should say. And there was just nothing special about it. And she always weaves magical realism into her stories, but I just didn't love this one. Honestly, it was just meh, which is sad to say, but I didn't love it. We followed Joni, who's a songwriter, and then Sebastian, he's a recording artist, I guess, and magical realism happens. They end up being able to communicate with each other at all times, and they end up writing a song together, and that's it. The end. I just didn't love it, as you could probably tell. Next up, I read My Friends by Frederick Bachman, and I did not pick this up because I wanted the paperback, but I'm happy that I didn't pick it up. Not because I didn't love it. I did like it, but the more I think about it, I feel like I like it less, which is weird because I've read some of his books before. I've read 2 of them, and I loved them. But this one, I feel like just wasn't really for me. I just feel like my little tiny heart is not the one for this story. Like if you're more tenderhearted, maybe you will, love it. And I just thought it was okay. There was 2 different timelines, and I feel like the present timeline, which was the main timeline, I wasn't really into. I was just more interested in the past and what happened with the people of the past timeline, and I think that was another reason that I didn't love this. I rated it super high though. I gave it 4.5 stars because I was being objective, but if I were to give it a rating for me personally, like my enjoyment, I'd probably give it a 3.75, which is what I should have done to begin with, but I think I get caught up in the hype and like just the fact that it's Frederick Bachman. But Yeah, I would say pick it up. I would say that you'd probably love it. Let's see. Another one that I read was A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sango Mandana. I had an e-arc of this and I was very tempted to just pick it up on release day because I loved book one, The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. I loved the found family in that. That was just so sweet and I just loved it. Every bit of it. Loved it. And so I was really looking forward to this one, but this one did not, I mean, it takes place in the same world, but you don't see the other characters or anything. Like they're not interconnected whatsoever. You don't have to read one to read the other one at all. Like you really don't. And I just didn't love these characters. I didn't connect with any of them, so I didn't end up caring what happened to them. The found family aspect for me was not really there the way that it was with the first one. I mean, it was there. I just think that because I didn't connect to these characters, I didn't love it. And, you know, the conflict that was happening, I didn't really care about. So all in all, it was unfortunately not the book for me. I ended up giving it 2.5 stars. But if you are a lover of cozy romance, cozy fantasy romance, then try this one. But I'd say start with the first one because in my opinion, it is better. Let's see. Then I also read Lady of Shadows by Melissa K. Rourke, which is book 2 in the Lady of Darkness series, which is a completed 6-book series. I'm currently on book 3 because I'm buddy reading these with my friend Summer, but I really enjoyed book 2. I feel like not a whole lot happened, and yet I still really liked it. And I ended up giving this one 4.25 stars, which is fair. Obviously, I can't really tell you what happened in this book, but in this series, we follow Scarlet, who starts off at the beginning of the book as an assassin, and she is a badass. She has 2 other sisters, and they're all assassins, and they're like really ruthless, and they actually work for the Assassin Lord. So it is their profession. At the beginning of the book, though, she ends up taking revenge on her mother's killer because her mother was killed, and obviously she was pissed. And she takes this guy out, but there's still a lot of mystery with her mother's death. There's still some questions. Like she knows that the person she killed was just a lackey and she didn't actually catch the killer. And yeah, there's politics, there's romance, there are fae, there are vampires, werewolves, there are witches. So yeah, and the more that I read, now I'm on book 3 and we're getting even more reveals and the world is expanding, which is really cool. So I'm guessing it's just going to expand even more. And I'm really liking this series a lot. I only own the first book, which Summer gifted me, but I own the US copy, and we were talking because we talk every Sunday. It's like our 2-woman book club, and we saw the UK paperbacks and they're gorgeous. So I think she's already started collecting them. I cannot because I'm on a budget, but I have them in my cart on Blackwell's because I want them so badly. I've really been enjoying this, and we're reading this one because we want to go on to the other one, which what is the Legacy series. It's like the spinoff of this one, but everybody says you should read this one first. So I'm enjoying it. I recommend it. I heard a lot of people compare it to Throne of Glass, and I think it's just because our girl starts off as an assassin and there are fae and all that. So I get the comparison, but I would say that this story is unique. It's different than Throne of Glass. It stands on its own, and I like them both. So there's that. Let's see. What else did I read that I don't own? Fearful by Lauren Roberts. That was the newest novella, and finally the end to the Powerless series. Powerless was a trilogy, but then there were 2 novellas. I loved Powerless. I gave it 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. Was it the best book ever written? No, but I really had fun with it. Reckless, I didn't like. I felt like it could have been an email. I know it was in like a video somewhere. And then Fearless just really let me down. Like it just went downhill. So I'm like, should I even keep these books other than Powerless? But I don't know. I think I am going to keep them just because I really liked Powerless, and I really liked the first novella, Powerful. This novella, Fearful, I didn't like it. I did not like it, and I ended up giving this one 2 stars. I wanted to give it less, but just because I didn't like it, but I felt like 2 stars was fair because we did get some insight into the happenings of Fearless, the third book. So from like a different POV, but yeah, in this we follow Death, literally Death. Her name's Mara. And I just don't understand why we were following Death. Like, what was the reason? I honestly, this story just didn't give me anything. I wanted, I don't know, I wanted to be more in Kit's head. If you've read it, then you know. And while we saw like a little glimpse of Kit, it was just more Death, just like eavesdropping on people, and that's it. But I don't know. I didn't love it. I don't recommend it, if I'm being honest. I don't think I recommend, if you have not read Powerless, like you haven't gotten into it, just maybe skip it. Because honestly, after Powerless, it just, well, Powerless and Powerful, and then it goes downhill. Which is a mean thing to say. I'm so sorry to Lauren Roberts, but that's how I feel. Next up, People Watching by Hannah Bonham Young. This was part of, I think, Bookshelf Ultimatum, the latest one. I will link it up top. I have read 2 other Hannah Bonham Young books, which were Out on a Limb and Out of the Woods, and I loved both of those books. I thought they were so good. I gave them 5 stars and like 4.5 stars respectively. Like, I really liked those books. So I was really excited for this one. The cover, everybody was losing their shit over it. It is gorgeous. But I saw that it was going to be a spicy book, and I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I want like a really, really spicy book as a Hannah Bonham Young book. Because to me, her books, like, they are so much more than the romance and the spice. Like, I just really love those books that I read. I didn't like this one. And I rated it really high, and then I brought it down to 3.25 stars because the more I think about this, the more that I realize that I didn't love it as much. And I think it was too spicy, but also I didn't really connect with the characters. I thought that the chemistry with the characters was kind of weird because one of the girls is a virgin. The main girl, she's a virgin, and she, at the beginning of the book, they keep bringing it up. And with the guy, he has a body count of 200. And he keeps bringing it up, like that he's like, he's for everyone because he's bi, which is fine. But like, they were making it his whole personality. And I don't know. It just rubbed me the wrong way from the beginning, and I couldn't really connect with them. By the end, I was okay with them. But my favorite part was definitely not the romance. And the reason that I even gave this 3.25 stars was for the side characters, not the main characters. Because I could have done without the main characters, if I'm being honest. But their families, I really liked. And the stuff that, the storyline that was happening with the families, that felt very Hannah Bonham Young to me. The romance, I didn't like it. I just didn't. Like, it was just like, it was just very superficial, in my opinion, like, and then forced. So I didn't love it, but I ended up giving this 3.25 stars for the side characters and the plot going outside of the romance. So there's that. And then I read, oh, I own the rest. Cool. So first up, let's just go in order of how I read them. I read Skyward, which is a book that I had on my TBR a couple months ago, and I finally finished it. I didn't love this. I really loved the first one, Skyward. I gave it 5 stars. Starsight, which I might have called it Skyward. Starsight, which is book 2, I didn't love, and it's because it changes dramatically from book 1 to this one. Completely different setting, different plot. Like, it just goes in a totally different direction. And I didn't love it. We got a lot more space and aliens, and I wasn't invested. It was a lot of like story and dialogue that I just didn't care about. However, I do see that it's necessary for the series as a whole to learn all the other people that are going to be in the story, like all the alien races and the politics and all that. And by the end, I was invested. I did think that, you know, once the reveal started happening and all that, I did enjoy it. It's just like, this one was definitely not my favorite, and I hope that the next ones work out for me. I will be reading the novellas alongside the last two books, so we'll see how those goes. But I ended up giving this one 3.5 stars, which I think is fair. It was just okay. It wasn't anything crazy. Then I picked up Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins because this was the only one that I needed to complete them all. I've read The Hunger Games, I read The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and I just needed this one. The Hunger Games for me is a 5-star series. I really love that trilogy. It's so good, and it stands the test of time. Like, if I were to reread it now as an adult, I know that I would still love it. I love the books, I love the movies, everything. This was so good. I love Haymitch. I think everybody loves Haymitch, and this, you know how it's going to end because duh. But it still hit. It was still impactful. I loved reading more about Haymitch and learning why he is the way he is in the Hunger Games trilogy. I just loved it. I also loved seeing more of the other characters that we've seen, like specifically in Catching Fire, when the Quarter Quell happens and we're getting all these older victors coming through. And we get to see them in this book in their youth. I really enjoyed that. I gave this 5 stars. It was so good. Objectively, it was the best book of the month for me, but I did not choose it to be my best book of the month because there was one that surprised me completely. But I recommended all those books. The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes I did unhaul just because I don't want to reread that. Like I read it and it was fine and I could part ways with it because it's about President Snow, who just pisses me off as a character. Then I read For Bookshelf Ultimatum, The Games Gods Play by Abigail Owen. This is a beautiful book, absolutely stunning. And I randomly picked this up from Book Outlet because I really like Greek mythology. And so it's like Greek mythology, romantasy, that should work out perfectly for me. This was okay. It was just okay. I wouldn't say it was great. It wasn't terrible. It was just very okay. I did like the trials that happen in this. This says, the gods love to play with us mere mortals, and every 100 years we let them. So the premise of this is pretty cool. We have the gods of Olympus and the Greek gods of Olympus, and they choose a mortal every 100 years to enter a tournament and like do some trials and all that on their behalf. And at the end, the victor will be what lets us know who's going to be the next ruler of Olympus for the next 100 years. So it doesn't always have to be Zeus. It can actually be other people, which is shocking because you think Greek mythology, you know that Zeus is the king of the gods always since killing Kronos. But yeah, he actually can not be the ruler in this world, which I thought was cool. And at the beginning of the book, they're getting ready for the next one. 100 years are up. Everybody's choosing their little victors. And who rose up? Hades. And Hades never participates in these because he's already a king in his own right. He's a king of the underworld. And they're like, you cannot be the king of the underworld and the king of the gods. Like, that's too much power. Get back down there. And so he's like, because my dearest Persephone has passed away, in her honor, I'm going to enter. And everybody's like losing their shit because they don't want him to be king of the gods. And so, yeah, he chooses our FMC to enter on his behalf. Romantasy. I liked it. It was okay. I mean, I liked some of the trials. The romance was okay. I would not say that I loved it, but I'm curious to see how book 2 goes. I'm not going to pick up book 2. I'm going to read it on Kindle Unlimited. And if I don't love it, then I will unhaul book 1. Even though, like I said, it was okay. It wasn't like the worst book ever. I ended up giving this one 3 stars. So, you know, not great, not terrible. Then I continued on with Zodiac Academy with book 2, Ruthless Fae. I have been trucking along slowly because I don't pick one up every month, although I think that I should, and I think that I'm going to start doing that, picking one up every month because there's a ton of them. Just in Zodiac Academy, there's a bunch, but I'm also going to be reading the Ruthless Boys of the Zodiac because you're supposed to read books 1 through 3 in Zodiac Academy and then read the 5 of Ruthless Boys and then come back to Shadow Princess book 4. And that's what I'm doing. So I read book 2 and I really liked it. It did seem kind of like a filler book, but we did get more background. We got to know the characters more in this one. So I do appreciate it for that. But these are just very like, they read like CW shows and books. And I mean that absolutely with praise. No offense. Because I just really like the drama of it. It's kind of like Vampire Academy reminiscent, like the CW. And like, I just really like it. It's just so stupid, but like so entertaining. And the characters act like children, even though they are young adults. But I like it. And I've been listening to the graphic audios of those, and I really like that too. So yeah, what did I end up giving this one? 4 stars. Fair. Because like I said, I have a good time with them, but I I'm ready for something to happen, something crazy. And at the end of that, like something does happen. So I'm assuming that it's going to get really good, but we'll see. These are just like guilty pleasure reads and I really like them. So there's that. Then I read, let's leave that one for the end. I also read Piranesi because it was on my TBR for last month, and I had picked this book up multiple times and I soft DNF'd them, but it's so beloved. Like people love this book. So I was like, I need to push through. Plus it's like really short. It's barely over 200 pages. And so I finally pushed through and I didn't love it. I didn't love it, which sucked, but it was just, what's the word? Underwhelming to me. The mystery element of the book is what kept me interested. I wanted to know what was happening. You start off not knowing anything. You don't know what's happening, and it continues on for literally the rest of the book until like the last quarter, and then everything falls into place. But when everything fell into place, I was just like, oh, I thought it was going to be cooler. I thought it was gonna be cooler than that. And people on Goodreads talk about the themes and you know what it means to be human and lonely and all that goes above my head. I am not that introspective that I'm gonna be thinking about the themes. Usually I don't. Sometimes I do. Sometimes like with Blood Over Brighthaven, like it gets me, but unfortunately it was not very impactful for me in this book, and I ended up giving it 3 stars, which I felt like was fair. But if I was being completely objective, like now that I'm thinking back on it, I probably would give it 2.5, but it is beloved. Almost everybody that I saw was giving it 5 stars, so keep that in mind. Obviously make up your own mind, and it's like a very short read, so yeah, no harm, no foul if you try it out and you don't love it like me. And then this is the last one, Servant of Earth, which was my favorite book of the month. This was such a surprise. I picked it up for Bookshelf Ultimatum, and I was rolling the dice, and this was like, go buy a romantasy. And I went to Barnes and I was like, what do I pick up? And the only reason I got this was because I was too lazy to look up which ones were romantasy and which ones were just fantasy. And Ace actually put romantasy back here, and that's why I chose it, and I loved it. This was so cool. I have a whole reading vlog, so I'm not going to talk too much about it, but this, we have trials in here, but the trials are not what you think like your typical trials are. The main girl is actually not the one going through the trials. She's helping someone go through the trials. And there are fae, there are noble fae, which are your typical hot fae. There are under fae, which are like the underlings, the servants, and they're more creepy looking, more like fae look. And then there are the nasties, which are like gruesome fae, kind of like just like really disgusting fae that like want to off everyone. There's the magic system was pretty cool because there are different courts, and all courts have different magics. There was the blood, fire, void, light, like there are a ton of different ones. And yeah, I really liked this. I thought it was really cool. It was very predictable, I'll say that, but the second book came out on September 30th, and I really want to read it, but I put it on hold on Libby because I bought this one in paperback, and they only released in hardcover at first, which sucks because that means I'm probably gonna have to wait like a whole year before I can buy this, unless I buy the hardcover of this to match. But if you have it though, if you just have it on your shelf, pick it up. I really liked it. I gave it 5 stars. I thought it was fun. It reminded me of The Cruel Prince, but it was definitely unique, definitely stood on its own, and I recommend it for sure. So those are the 12 books that I read in September. I'm sure I talked forever. Like always, I always try and go quickly and then I don't. But let me know what your favorite book of September was. I would love to add it to my TBR. Especially let me know your 5-star reads because I want to end the year with a bang. Like I just really want to love everything because these are my favorite months. The Burr months, October to December. I'm a fall girl through and through, so I'm so happy. I feel like I'm in my element now. So yeah, leave your recommendations down below. Give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you soon with another one. Bye.